Oh, wait, the red light is on. Okay, we're good? All right. Good evening, everyone. This is the May 19th, 2026 meeting of the Woodbridge Board of Education, and I will call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Did I say?
Yep, you did.
Jesus, did I go with that? June 15th. Sorry, June 15th, so we don't have to amend that in the notes. I changed it on top. It's always the first line that you mess up. All right, roll call of Board of Education members. Vice Chair Lynn Pasek is not with us this evening. Secretary Sarah Beth Delpreet.
Present.
Jackie Capiello.
Here.
Megan Knatzer.
Here.
Jeff Hughes not yet. We hope he will join us. Mike Strambler will not be able to join us this evening. Sarab Vilkar will not be able to join us this evening. Erin Williamson.
Here.
And I am the chair, Stephen Lawrence. Staff in attendance this evening include Christopher Montini, Superintendent, Donna Coonan, Director of Business and Operations, Carrie Borcherding, Director of Special Services, Annalisa Sherman, Principal. I don't see Cheryl, Matthew Madruga, Assistant Principal, and Marcia DeGennaro, Clerk of the Board. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Correspondence.
All correspondence can be found in Board Book. Do you want me to read the whole statement? It may be submitted via email no later than 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting to mdegenaro@woodbridgeps.org.
Thank you. All right, public comment. The board welcomes public participation and is appreciative of the feedback we receive from the community, whether it is through letters or public comment at meetings. If you are making public comment at tonight's meeting, please be aware that the board will not respond to any comments made during the public comment period, except to clarify issues. We will take into consideration your comments, and when appropriate, district administration will follow up with you at a later point in time. Do we have anyone seeking to make public comment this evening? All right, seeing no one, we will move on to the consent agenda. The minutes from the May 19th, playing the role of Lynn Pasaic, keeping me on track, May 19th regular board meeting are included in this evening's consent agenda, along with a budget narrative, a budget summary, the detailed financial report, and the combining financial statements and policies for 30-day review. Does anyone on the board wish to extract anything from tonight's consent agenda for discussion? May I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Motion to accept.
Thank you, Megan Knatzer. May I have a second? Jackie Capiello. All those in favor? All right. Next up, we have the PTO update. I know, we're like...
Everybody. Nice to see you all. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Monica Phillip. I'm the PTO president this year, and I just want to say this year has been a success on all accounts. We're just thrilled with how things have gone, and we're so grateful for pretty much everyone in this room coming to our events, supporting us on the sidelines, and or sending your children to help. I mean, it's been really a wonderful year. So I'm here tonight just to share a bit more into the microphone, share a bit more about specifics about what we did and what we accomplished together. So our main goal this year was to grow the good together, and that really was through three major approaches: looking into the classroom, restructuring the way we did teacher grants, looking at school-wide initiatives, what we were doing well, what we could do better. I think our board this year really consisted of people who strive for excellence, and for each of our events, I think we were really able to achieve new things and do them in a way that was fun and caring and inviting. We also hope to, like every year, continue to grow our community of volunteers. I think since 2020, that's been an initiative we're always trying to encourage people to come back in the school, come back to events, and we were successful there. And then to continue to grow and how we demonstrate our appreciation for teachers and staff. To start us off, I'd like to share about our academic events and our teacher grants. We restructured the way we did teacher grants this year. In the past, we've offered what we call mini grants, so each teacher can individually apply for $200 for something in their classroom. We review it with Principal Sherman and decide if that's something that really is something that we want in the school that makes sense for everybody, and go from there. This year, we decided to give more money and to give bigger, more all-encompassing grants at the grade level and also to the specials teachers. And so here are the results of what we were able to achieve together. We also gave a round. There are a few outstanding efforts with the Freckle classroom licenses that they're going to implement for next year. So I don't have the exact final number, but we spent about $20,000 this year on the teacher grants, which in the past we spent about $12,000. So we did increase how much we offered to the classrooms directly. And the feedback we got all around was really positive. I think we put out a survey to the teachers last week about how they thought this went, if they'd like to go back to the old approach, if they liked this approach better, among other questions, which to my recollection is the first time we've actually asked a teacher survey in a while, but we thought that was overdue and we should get input, so we did that. We also have a parent survey out, and we're trying to now continue to share all this goodness with parents as well, so we're all on the same page about what we've done. We also did our in-school enrichment, so we had 4 major assemblies this year that touched every student. So one that was at the grade level, one that was science specific, and 2 that celebrated the arts, the ballerinas from Hartford and Maya Dance and Drum. The Mad Science came for pre-K through 4th. Milestone C was 5th and 6th, which was more of tech robotics experience. And that way, all students got to experience the science in school this year, which was a little bit different than previous years where we had a science night. But every grade had an assembly with someone of their choosing that the teachers chose and that we helped support come in. And so we could enrich the curriculum that they were doing that year. As I said earlier, we did have more volunteers this year. I went through all the numbers and pulled all the individual names out, and I know that there were more than signed up. But we had about 285 individual volunteers, and that's about 70 more than last year. And then from there, we had about 100 who volunteered many times, and some many, many times. Some people were at every event. And we're so grateful. I mean, there are about 15 or 20 people who really come to everything and are really just the heartbeat of this work, and we're really grateful. We had a lot of teachers involved this year. We had a lot of high schoolers, middle schoolers who came to support the work, administrators, of course, and all of you. And many, many parents and guardians, grandparents, other people as well. So we also celebrated record attendance at multiple events this year. Arts Night, International Festival, and Kwasi were all record numbers. Our staff appreciation and support, we continued this year through supporting with all the goodies in the staff room. Grade levels supported that each month, and we continue to get good feedback about that. That was actually Assistant Principal Cheryl Toffel's idea, and I'm so grateful she brought it to us a few years ago so that we could continue to make the effort move forward, and we continue to get good feedback about that. We also do 3 major appreciation moments for teachers throughout the year. We have our Welcome Back lunch, we have our Valentine's Day brunch, or breakfast, and then we have our Teacher Appreciation, Staff Appreciation Week. Additionally, we supported a number of specialist teachers' efforts with the book brackets, the literary board, writer's anthology. The mascot was new this year, which we hope we'll be able to use for many years to come, as well as one-off efforts with piano tuning for MAG, using additional supplies for field day with Mr. Taddy, and getting to collaborate much more with Mrs. Jessica Hill and the cafeteria, who's here with us today as well, with all of her farm to table events, recruiting volunteers so that we can support that effort. We also offered additional 6th grade books that were requested. I already mentioned some other highlights. So Quasi tickets were at an all-time high. We had a wonderful turnout. It was a beautiful night. It's really a night we all come together well. So far, we've had about, just the parent survey went out today. We've had about 30 folks fill it out. And Quasi is always up there at the top as one of people's favorite events. And it was no different this year, of course. So where I also mentioned the farm to table collaboration. We added a new family event, the hockey tournament game, which was really fun. We had a successful readathon. We exceeded all of our reading goals and also met our expectations in terms of the fundraiser there. One of the things I'm really grateful and proud of is that we do offer tickets to all of our events for folks that are part of the free and reduced lunch program. And this year we had an all-time turnout of families actually coming and participating in that. I can give a lot of credit to Laura in the front office, the way she was able to invite people and make sure that they really are invited and make it easy for people to get the tickets and come to events. But I'm really grateful that that community is growing in terms of their incorporation into what we do. We also had professional parent photographers volunteer and come out and want to participate in many of our events, which was new this year and fun. And then we were able to put all the photos in our password-coded, behind firewalls places, but for all the parents to get to see, which was really fun. I already mentioned the different approach we had this year in science and the record turnout and the international and art festivals. If we look at our budget, it's obviously not all about the money, but it does cost a lot to run these programs, and so we do take that seriously. We had budgeted just about $100,000 at the beginning of the year. We came in under budget. I'm waiting on the final numbers, but the actual budget that we spent was closer to the amount we raised, which was $83,000. We tend to over budget for what we need, especially in terms of things like security, because if we do need to invite the police department, that's significantly more than if we do have the courtesy of Officer Lynch joining us. So things like that. Also, we did collaborate more in the community this year and get, for example, over $1,000 worth of in-kind donations for Arts Night from Home Depot, Lowe's, Trader Joe's, just by asking and them being excited to do what we're doing together. So those are some of the ways that kind of explain why we ended up coming under. We also have a big cushion for next year that we'll need to talk about as members and as a board of what we want to do with that. We have about $100,000 that we have in the bank, and we need to decide, does that mean we change our fundraising strategy next year? Does that mean we change our spending strategy next year? How much do we want to hold? And if we're holding, how do we make that money work for us in some way besides sitting there? We have two financial experts coming onto the board as treasurers this year, and I think they'll help us with that tremendously. These slides just go through clarifying what each of those categories mean and what we're spending in each of the categories displayed before. Academic enrichment continues to be where the majority of our money goes, and I think we're all in agreement that's where it should go. This is just a photo to show all of the joy that happened this year, and the chaos, and all the fun, and all of the different smiles and sparks of curiosity that came from this year. It was a really tremendous year. We did an awful lot that we can be proud of. I wanted to share with you all as well, we voted on our incoming board members for this coming year. Many of us will continue on. I will continue on as president for this next year. Aaron Murphy will continue on as vice president, Sammy Falk as secretary. We have two new treasurers, as I mentioned, Ming Huey and Ellen Toyonaga, who both have business and finance backgrounds. We have two new co-chairs of fundraising, Alexandra Cohen and Gina DePuma, who also have experience in fundraising in their various capacities in the community. Kara Rossner will continue on as our academic events chair, now co-chaired by Jennifer Kennedy Holmes, who had been one of our treasurers. Often we see this in our board as people are maybe have timed out of their particular role, but are eager to stay on, especially while their children are still at Beecher, and so shift to something new, and we're very grateful to have her stay on with us. We have Joanna Marlowe staying on as Chair of Social Events, Dorothy Rhodes, Chair of Communication, Mrs. Chiarleglio as our Teacher Liaison, now partnered also with Mrs. Smetak. That's hot off the press, so we're happy to have her join us as well. I just wanted to take one moment of special recognition. The board members this past year worked incredibly hard. It's a lot of work to put these events together, but it also, I can say, from what I've seen, gives us all a lot of joy and meaning. And so it's a great privilege to get to work with this group. Our outgoing board members, Cindy, Betsy, Sarah, and Mrs. Meacham, all contributed many years of volunteerism to our board and to the Beecher Road School community, and we are grateful to them. Mrs. Sherman, Mrs. Toffel, and Mr. Montini were incredibly generous with their time and coming to multiple events, helping support there's so many puzzles that need to be sorted as we put these events together, especially in school. And I will say Mrs. Sherman always was so willing to just, we're going to figure it out, and without hesitation, and I'm so grateful for that. We also had a lot of teacher involvement this year. I'd just like to especially acknowledge Mrs. Nacuzzi, Mrs. Finelli, Mrs. Atchison, Mrs. Smetak, Mrs. Conroy, Miss Taylor, Mrs. Nickel, Mrs. Hill, Mr. Vito Esparro, and the front admin staff, Laura, Laurel, Lola, Ro, and Jessica. And of course, all of our coordinators and parent volunteers. Our last event was just last week for our celebration of the 6th graders. It was beautiful. We're so excited for graduation on Wednesday, and we wish them the best of luck. And that's all I have for you. If you have any questions, I'm here. I'm also happy to offer any information after the fact.
I think we can end the meeting there. That's really remarkable. And I will just say, first off, really well done report. Just comprehensive, concise. That was awesome. And oh my gosh, what you've accomplished this year. That is so impressive. And the numbers of participants, but the numbers of volunteers, and that you get people coming back. That just speaks to the community you're creating in the PTO. Just really impressive. I will say, I do have a quick question before we open this up. What is a Freckle Classroom?
Oh, so the Freckle Classroom is an online program, and it involves math, and also it's mostly math and English, but I think they're mostly going to use it for math. So they wanted to incorporate it into the didactic portion of the classroom learning, but the licenses are expensive and they don't last forever, and so that was something unique that we had to make sure security-wise, everything else, it was going to match up. But once we decided, yes, this is a go, they just said, well, let's wait till next year so we get the full years out of it. But that's what it is.
No,
Yeah.
This is great. And I just have to say, as a data person, having a superintendent who's a data person, many data people around the table, putting out a survey, really, questioning, not making assumptions, and actually asking people what's working, what's not. Kudos to all of you. This is fantastic. Other comments?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. With that, we will turn to the superintendent's report. Mr. Montini.
Thank you, Chairman Lawrence. Good evening, members of the board, faculty and staff in the audience, and our greater community watching from home. I will begin with a little gratitude for Ms. Phillip and the PTO for all that they do in support of Beecher Road School. They are well-organized, well-led, supportive, kind. So many people, 285 to be exact, I just learned, give freely their time. Because of their efforts, the student experience is certainly enhanced, enriched, and much, much more fun. Faculty and staff are supported and appreciated, and the community that is BRS is strengthened. The Woodbridge community is very lucky to have you and your colleagues. Thank you. Our enrollment this June currently stands at, and currently is an interesting word given that there's only a couple of days left, so it is 875 curious and kind students who, despite loving Beecher Road School very, very much, are incredibly excited for summer. This is one student less than last year. Last year we ended at 876, so same number as last month, but one less than last June. So Beecher, I think I had mentioned in a previous board member, things that are Beecher are they're big, right? It's I think go big or go home is a part of how we do things at Beecher. And in just a few days, we'll celebrate, we'll have our last day of school. The year has flown by. Throughout the month of June, our teachers and students have welcomed families into the school for end-of-the-year culminating activities, where we've celebrated growth, achievements, of our students in a bunch of different ways, from books, blankets, and breakfast in kindergarten, to the fourth grade fantasy brunch, to our MAG end-of-the-year celebration, and about 100 more. The strong sense of community that exists here is evident, and our end-of-the-year celebrations have been very well attended, filled with smiles, joy, and lots of pride and growth. We will culminate these end-of-the-year activities on the last day of school, Wednesday, with our promotion ceremony for sixth grade students, where we'll commemorate and celebrate years of hard work, growth, development, connection, memorable experiences, and fun. So I want to just reference quickly, there was a correspondence in the packet. I want to let you know that we had one of our sixth grade students wrote in recognition and appreciation of a bus driver for all that the bus driver does to ensure a safe and supportive trip to and from school. Mrs. Coonan and I will be recognizing the bus driver at the annual back-to-school meeting with the bus drivers, because that will be in front of all of his peers, and just as important, in front of all of the supervisors and contractors. So we have that slated where we're happy to recognize him at that meeting. Last week, I had the pleasure of attending the FBI recognition at Beecher School with the FBI. So members of the local FBI field office were at Beecher to provide an award to our students in recognition of their participation and scores on the FBI Safe Online Surfing Program. So our sixth grade students scored the highest in the nation for the month of April. That's not the county, not the state, the nation. For the month of April. It's a free program, or was a free program actually. It's getting repurposed as of June 1st, one due to budget and two due to modernization. But we had been doing it, as far as I know, at least for the last 3 years. And it's aimed at educating students on the evolving cyber dangers, being responsible digital citizens, proactive awareness, and to remain as safe and secure as possible in all online realms. So congratulations to our sixth grade students and their teachers for engaging with this and achieving so highly. So that was a nice event. And if you put a bunch of FBI agents in front of Beecher students ask really, really good questions. So it was entertaining to witness the our Beecher student questions and the FBI's responses. I also think it was really interesting in that, you know, the FBI, they come from all different backgrounds. The head of the local field office was a former biologist, and there was a linguist present, and so students were able to see and were intrigued by, you know, that career path as well. So sort of career pathway wasn't intended, but also was a part of the process. I have a brief kindergarten registration update. On May 26th, we held a brief orientation for our incoming kindergarten students and their families. There was a few tears, but many more smiles and an incredible sense of excitement and joy in the air. Our incoming students played in classrooms with their peers, with our teachers, while the administration provided a brief overview to our incoming families. Certainly much more in the way of welcoming and supporting both our students and their families throughout the summer and into next year. So our enrollment in terms of kindergarten as of right now is 93. 81 of whom have completed the registration process fully, and 12 are in process. Last June, we had 79. We're in the process of building so we can start to analyze and predict and project on a month-to-month or maybe even a week-to-week basis. But right now, for comparative purpose, that's all we have. I do expect that number will increase over the course of the next 2 months. Hard to tell how much. Last year, June to where we started was only 6, but we're a little higher now. At our last meeting, I talked about tracking the enrollment weekly and not posting a position in case the enrollment numbers came in low. We're now at a point where we feel comfortable and we're going to post a teaching position tomorrow, since we at the bare minimum will have 15, 16 in class as is, and we expect that to grow. So we'll be posting for that position tomorrow or Wednesday, but certainly in the next couple of days. And finally, as I mentioned a few meetings ago, we have a couple of teachers retiring this year. And once again, I just want to recognize and thank Sue Simonello and Dan Chase. On behalf of the administration and the board, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for their service to the students in this community. And I wish both Sue and Dan a happy, healthy retirement filled with peace and joy. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions? All right. I believe we have next on the agenda an E-Day update from Mr. Taddy. And we're always happy to see you.
Chris, is there a slide I push or?
You will not do anything. They will do everything
Got
for
it.
you.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
You've got people today. young
Okay,
man.
You've got a team behind you.
I first would like to say thank you very much for the board for allowing me to come in front of you and talk a little bit about our extended day program. I also would like to thank Mr. Montini and the entire administration for all their help throughout the entire year. It's a work in progress, it's a day after a day. And, 95% of the time I'll be coming to Lisa and telling her all the successes, but there's certainly a lot of challenges. And at least Mr. Rourke and I are tried very, very hard to mesh whatever happens extended day and let all the administration know. So we have more minds working at it, so we deliver a better product for our kids.
Oh, so maybe just hit the space bar. That work?
The right arrows.
Right arrow. There you go. Sorry, I stand corrected. It's okay, it's coming. He's coming.
Thank you, Lisa.
It's because that thing.
You have to exit that little, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. There we go.
Thank you. A couple small things about the highlights of the year. We have consistent enrollment. Over the past 3 years, we have about 85 to 100 students that attend every single day. That number fluctuates. There's some days we'll have 5 or 10 drop-ins. And please know, people could sign up, as midday. So we don't know. And so we print all the rosters, to the last minute right before when the day starts. There's a lot of popular things that happen extended day. I know Jess is here, but we started serving ice cream snack twice a month. The kids really, really love that. We provide snack every single day, and we work with Jess in the kitchen to provide safe snacks, and the kids really look forward to that. Some popular classes. All of our classes are outstanding, but our new cooking class took off. So just to give the board a little update, a couple years ago, we decided to stop our cooking class for certain reasons. And then we decided to brainstorm on how we could open it up to make it safer, better, more enjoyable, cleaner, and those kind of things. And lo and behold, Jess came, and we had a staff in the kitchen that wanted to run our cooking class, and it was just hands down outstanding. Kids loved it. There was always a waiting list. We ran it, I think January, February, or March, and Jen, who ran it, she had a beautiful book of Miss Jen's Cooking with Miss Jen. And you can see they had hats on it. And she would come in a couple hours early, and the prep was just outstanding. As a teacher, we're teaching right up to 3 o'clock. There's no way we can cut up all the ingredients for the snacks and those kind of things. Jess works directly with Jen to provide, to buy all the ingredients and those kind of things, and an extended day reimburse them. Next year, we're looking to run our cooking class September, October, November, December, and then hopefully later in the year. Minecraft 3D printing, every month waiting list. So when you have a waiting list, that kind of shows the level of interest. So every month I send an email out to all the parents. Just want to let you know all the classes are up online. Please sign up. So just to give them a little bit of heads up on that. But again, thank you, Jess, for all your work with that. It was just an outstanding program. People were for the cooking, very sad to see it go. Our extended day team. So this is that Mrs. Sherman was grateful to make some beautiful posters. At the beginning of this is about 85% of our staff. So Mr. Work and I's job, we feel, is to foster a beautiful team that will enhance our after-school program. So we get together at the beginning of the year for about an hour. We have an orientation session. We talk soup to nuts throughout the whole meeting, and then we'll get together and take some pictures for it. We bought T-shirts. Thank you, Mrs. Sherman. We brought T-shirts for all the staff, and again, it's just like Mr. Martini and Mr. Sherman's job. Their job is to put together a winning team for Beachy Road, and our school students will be enhanced. Our job is to put together a winning team after school, to make it fun, engaged, in a very safe environment. And Tim and Mr. Work and I really can't take much credit. We have an amazing staff. It's a staff that works together, supports each other. There are things that happen at 2 o'clock where someone's running a class and they get called out for a health reason or something, and someone has to step in and fill that position. So it's a really outstanding team to work with. The rates. Last year, I know the board, we mentioned the board, we raised our rates, which haven't been raised in a long time. This year, we are proposing keeping our rates the same. However, we're going to pass on the 4% credit card fee to the parents beginning next year. And that's going to be we're going to do a lot of communication with the parents to let them know that this will be happening. If they want to pay by check or cash, we can still do that every month. I always get some checks to deposit. But I think this is just a very good thing for us to do to move on with that. And then just really the high quality supervision. I think back to YMCA programs, other school systems, and to see the awesome classes run with highly qualified, certified teachers. And when things come up, our teachers know how to deal with them. So it's an amazing program. Mr. Martini, do I have a slide for the staffing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Which one?
next.
This one?
Right arrows.
So a little bit about our staffing. So if you look to this year we hired about 40 of our staff. So we started doing that a couple years ago to get all of our staff on board before we leave. So the ship is moving right now, so we can start, thinking about our September schedule. We have about total 40. Just to let everyone know, not all 40 work every single day. So we have roughly about 10 people that work every day. There's a site supervisor, either Mr. Rourke or I, that work every single day. We have a sign-in coordinator that comes in roughly 11:30, 12 o'clock and start pulling all the rosters together, downloading the rosters, pulling our master schedule together, checking our Pick My Kids to see if they have the right pick, checking the attendance, getting radios ready, and then most of our staff, we're on duty until 3:25, is it? 3:25. So our team also is very unique. So we have several teachers who are retired teachers that fill a very, very important role, like Mrs. Dempsey, Mrs. Coleman, and they're part of Mrs. Mrs. Calamonaco was a teacher assistant. So they come in and serve and fill that role as sign-in coordinator. So they get down to the CAF about 2:30, set up all our signs. Kindergartners come down about 3:05. So they get everyone checked in. When teachers are done with their duties, then we come down and we disperse. But on a daily basis, we have roughly about 10 of our staff working every single day. One thought about hiring our staff, since I took over extended day, I've never turned down any teacher that had an interest in working an extended day. So there's always people that would like more days. Come on, Mr. Taddy, I need more days than 2. But I feel the right way, or the fair way, is to hire all of our internal staff and then work with the staffing from there. Yes, someone might want 2 days, but they might only get 1 day. They might pick up an extra day. So we hire all the teachers in our school, and then a monthly basis, I put together a monthly schedule that our staff gets, and we post, and we go from there on that. There is the financial tracking for the 2025-26 school year. Hats off to Mrs.
A little
Coonan.
help with that?
Yes.
So we scheduled out all of our revenues and expenses through May, and the program, as of the end of May, has made $29,000 for the year. You might notice that the BOE expenses line is blank, and that is because we did not charge extended day, any overhead for utilities or labor associated with processing their payroll and things like that we've done in the past. Because they've had some additional labor expenses they've had to incur, and we are running a surplus, so we wanted to allow them to build up a little bit of cushion that took a hit in the past year. And so, assuming they are in a good position next year, we may begin to take some of those expenses again, but we felt that it is important for them. I think they ended the year with between $9,000 and $10,000 of fund balance. So if we can hold this, maybe they'll go into next year with close to 40, and it's just nice. They need a little bit of get-going money in the beginning of the year before the revenues come in, and they have equipment, radios and things like that they need to be able to replace when the time comes. So, but anyway, we continue to monitor this together in Finance Committee, and we feel like we're getting them a good footing on the path forward.
Thank you, Donna. So I just want to mention one thing. So I'll always be here to talk about successes, but one of our challenges, we had several students that we felt needed a one-on-one, and to make sure they have proper supervision and they're safe and they're taken care of. That was a huge additional expense, and all the kids are flourishing in the program. But if you took a look at what we paid for labor to be with that child throughout the month, it doesn't compare to what the parents paid on a monthly basis. So I really appreciate Mrs. Coonan and Mr. Montini working with us, and they know about it, and we'll keep working from there. So just a small little challenge, but the bottom line, one success. I'm not going to mention who the one-on-one we're working with, but it's just a pleasure and joy to see the parents come in at 6 o'clock and to see their child flourishing and being safe in our environment of Beecher Road School after school. So it touches our hearts. So thank you. Does any board member have any questions? I'll be glad to answer now.
Yeah, let me just say, E-Day has been invaluable to my family, certainly since we came to Beecher Road School, and I think you and Mr. Rourke have just done a phenomenal job. What is it, 2 years or 3 years now?
3 years.
It's
Yeah,
3
it was
years.
fast.
Time flies. No, just such a valuable resource for our families, And, you know, I mean, and the cooking class, I'm like, the only times my children have ever cooked was when they took a cooking class at Extended Day. So I'm so glad it's back and so strong. And thank you, Mrs. Hill, for that. Comments, questions from other members of the board? Oh. All right. Thank you so
Can I say
much.
one
Thank
thing,
you so
Stephen?
much.
Oh, sure.
I
Go
would
right
just
ahead.
say, I appreciate that you guys all work together for the inclusive nature of all children at Beecher. I think that is super important, and I just really appreciate that. So thank you.
Great point. Great point.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, next up, we have Mr. Asparo, who's going to speak to us about tools for schools and wellness.
And Mrs. Hill.
Oh, and Mrs. Hill. Ah.
Starting the group project I'll be finishing.
Oh, I thought you were just here for the kudos for Extended Day.
Hello. So I'm going to talk about the Wellness Committee, which kind of at Beecher is really the Wellness Committee, kind of farm to school and sustainability all kind of rolled into one, even though there are separate committees for that. When you look at the wellness policy, it kind of makes sense. So Connecticut State Department of Education recently rolled out a rebranding to do cafeteria, classroom, and community. So I've done a lot of trainings that have taught me how to foster that, and I have to thank the PTO because with them, we've really been able to work on the community piece. We did a triannual assessment. So back in 2011, 2012, all schools had to do a wellness policy. At that time, it was more of dealing with the Healthy Hungry Free Kids Act and changing a lot of the meal components, and it kind of became like a food police policy, whereas now they've kind of controlled some of that, reorganized how the policy is, and it's looking at as whole school wellness policy, not just the student aspect of it. In reviewing it, we came out above average, which was excellent on their system. And things that like Mrs. Sherman doing the all-school walks, even today, like doing the all-school read, that's getting kids out of the classroom, getting movement and movement breaks, that not all districts do. There is curriculum that the gym teachers and health teachers have to follow, but Beecher goes above and beyond with that. Same in the kitchen, there's a National School Lunch Program, nutritional standards that we have to follow, as well as the Connecticut State Department of Education's Smart Snacks list. So, like, I'm not going to say too much in case kids do watch this, but, like, when we're serving our ice cream and our chips, they're not the same specific ones you're buying in the store. There's certain requirements that they are to be in the kitchen. And same with, like, we're always sesame free and nut free, just to be, trying to be able to include anybody to come through the serving line. And we always try to make accommodations when necessary for students with dietary restrictions. And that's part of the wellness policy as well, making it kind of transparent in the inclusion. So at the end, I did not write this. This was actually formulated from the triannual assessment, from the report that I got back. For farm to school, which is where I could talk more about, we know that like field day was a great movement activity. That's an all-school event where the PTO really comes in, volunteers. The last 2 years we've partnered with them to prepare the watermelon that goes out, store the popsicles that they get in, trying to help one with their cost savings and making sure that everything's prepped with a food safety in mind for all the students. With Connecticut Growing for Kids Week this year, we did several events that went off very well. One was an all-school corn checking event. The other was an all-school lettuce tasting event, which was more exciting than it sounds.
we also were able to do a salsa tasting event from Massaro Farms, and now when we serve salsa, it is the Massaro Farms salsa. Same when we did our pasta tasting event. Now we always serve the whole grain pasta from Passionately Pasta in Wallingford. Kids might say that it's brown pasta, and it is brown pasta. However, our numbers have gone up in participation on the days that we're serving it, so they clearly like the flavor of said brown pasta, and it's definitely a more nutritional versus the dry, like, Barilla pasta. The sunflower planting was another activity that got people moving. It's more than what the activity actually is. Like, anybody can plant anything, but it's getting them moving, thinking, life cycles. Well, I didn't say everybody can make things grow, but anybody can plant anything. Keeping things alive is a different concept, but it gets people thinking and realizing how hard it can be sometimes, and where things come from. A lot of students like to eat sun butter sandwiches, so we got to have a lot of conversations on how sun butter is made. So I'm hoping maybe to be able to do a sun butter making event for Connecticut Farm to School Week next year, so they can actually see how what they're eating all the time is made. And then we did a blind milk taste this year with a Mountain View Farm out of Storrs, Connecticut, versus our current Wade's Dairy. It was 1% versus 1%, and it was very successful. The farm milk did win in flavor. Some kids said they couldn't really tell the difference. What made it stick for me was the amount of kids that came back for seconds. No one went back to the regular, commercial brand. Everybody came back to the farm table. And again, they didn't know which ones they were getting. They just knew they liked it. We also did some surveys with the cooking club this year. That was a closed group of people that we could do some taste tests with. So Miss Jen was able to do some things that we do on the menu and then ask the kids to rate it, to really get like a closed environment controlled survey. And that it was going to be able to help us with the menu for this year. And we won the Connecticut State Department of Education Great Plates, which is a farm to school contest. It has to be something that is actually on your menu, so you submit the menu, the recipe, and it is a scratch recipe that we use with our, I say bolognese sauce, but on the menu it's meat sauce. And it is one of the ones that the kids like. I've learned that they prefer that to like pasta and meatballs. They like the meat sauce better. And I was happy that that won. And then, like Mr. Taddy mentioned, we have the Extended Day Cooking Club with Miss Jen. The staff is trained. We had the Yukon Extension come at the beginning of this year, do some training with the staff, and encouraging people to not only take the mandatory fruit and vegetables, but like come back for fruit and vegetables. If you're coming back for a snack, did you rather have a fruit and vegetable instead of that? To really try to expose them to things. We have a rainbow tray in the cafeteria that I've learned some people don't really know about. So not only do we offer the vegetable that says is on the menu, so like today, we had French fries as our technical vegetable, but there was also cucumbers, chickpeas, black beans, olives, carrots, and broccoli available as well, as well as oranges, applesauce, and pears. So what we see on the menu versus the choices that are available are a little bit different, and we want the kids to be educated on making healthy choices. So if you're just giving them one option, it's not gonna go far. And then again, Smart Snacks, only Smart Snacks approved by the USDA and the Connecticut State Department of Education are sold. The USDA has strict standards. Connecticut Department of Education has stricter standards. So it is a public list that you can see online to see what Doritos I am allowed to carry, which ones I can't. And yes, some of the flavors they make up are weird, and I apologize for that. But the kids do seem to love them. So at least it's a whole grain, somewhat nutritious snack. And lastly, in August, the staff, like I mentioned, they had their hands-on training with the local food prep with our school coordinator. We did receive a Connecticut Grown for Kids grant for a Meet the Farmers event in fall of '26, so I'm partnering with the PTO right now to coordinate that event. we were selected for a New England Dairy Council bulk milk grant. So next year, the students will actually have farm fresh milk in the cafeteria, but will also be practicing a more sustainable practice with not having the cartons, and they'll actually be pouring their milk as they come through. So encouraging a little bit more self-responsibility as well. There are,
Great.
yes.
No one's gonna spill anything.
That's, it's, there will be some challenges, but the benefits just outweigh the potential challenges. And honestly, there's going to be a cost savings with it as well, and an environmental impact with how much the dairy truck previously had to come versus how often we're going to need these deliveries because of storage purposes and how it comes. So to me, there's a little bit of milk spilt. Sorry, Vito, is going to outweigh the benefits in reality. And I think it's going to give the kids a sense of pride making their choices. They'll have a choice between chocolate 1% and 2% milk. They can pour if they do not want the full cup. They don't have to, so we're hopefully encouraging less waste. I can assure you right now there is a decent amount of milk wasted, so kids can take what they want versus having to take the full cup. We are only using local lettuce. We were able to recently harvest some of our own lettuce in the greenhouse. Mag had donated some plants. We worked with the STEAM teacher. She was able to keep them alive for us and get them growing. And then a couple students and I were able to go in and harvest with one of our cafeteria ladies and actually serve that lettuce that day on the salad bar. So that was an awesome chain of events. And the student that helped us is not one that loves vegetables, but they did try the lettuce that day, so that was exciting. And then partnering with the PTO, again, I can't thank them enough. We had some fun events. Art night was great. We came up with some very creative displays, and I can't speak highly enough of how much their volunteers are willing to come in even on short notice, and whenever you send up a sign up for them, they fill it right away. It's amazing. And lastly, some pictures of the things we've done this year. I forgot to mention, because this happened last June, but Donna, myself, and BJ Ahern went to the Connecticut Farm to School Institute, and that was really able to help step up our farm to school initiative.
Wow. Wow. Although Donna, wow, really? I thought you just did spreadsheets.
Well, truth be told, they had to have an administrator, and I think there was a training for every other administrator, so I'm like, I guess I'm it. So I enjoyed it.
That's all good. I mean, my only two thoughts really beyond this is incredible is the fact that you had a lettuce tasting and we didn't have word of student protests outside of the cafeteria. I'd like to know how you did that. What I'd also like is your recipe, your award-winning recipe for bolognese, because I think that may be within my culinary skill set.
I have to say, the hydroponic lettuce is so fresh, crisp, and clean, right? It just makes a difference. And I had never heard lettuce described as spicy until that day, but arugula is a spicy lettuce. Yep.
That's true. I hadn't really thought about that. And I like lettuce, but I had not thought about that. No, this is just, I mean, the modeling this gives our kids at such an early stage to think about food in different ways and also about sustainability. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be a little messier getting farm fresh milk, but it's also we're not using all those cartons.
Exactly.
You know, that waste alone, as well as the volume, that's incredible. Other comments?
Do you have all that you need for the pouring of the milk in cups and all that?
Yeah, with the grant, it was providing all the equipment we need, and then we just we're purchasing the racks to go through the dishwasher and the cups to use along with, we're gonna start with lids, especially for the younger kids, and we'll see how long we need to use them for, but that way, and we're not getting rid of straws either, so lids and straws will be available. But this is the first step to kind of limit some plastics too.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This was really, I wasn't expecting this. This was really
sorry
great.
I talk so fast.
No, you're terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vito, the bar's been set high.
I know, this is tough. I don't have any posters to open up or, let's see here. All right, our Tools for Schools Committee Report for 25-26. All right, we'll start with what is Tools for Schools. It's an indoor air quality, healthy school environment program that was developed by the EPA to assess our indoor air quality and maintain a healthy building for the students and staff. We've been doing it at Beecher Road School for many years. It even predates me. Lynn's been on the committee probably for over a decade, even longer than that. The areas we review indoor air quality questions and concerns. We review school cleanliness and seek areas of improvement. And we alert and remind staff to policies, procedures, and recommendations to create and maintain the healthy school environment. We have a big building, lots of unique classrooms, so it's always good to converse with everyone in the building about their different location. Here's our timeline of events. So this is basically an overview of our entire year for the Tools for Schools. In September, I generally attend one of our first faculty meetings, and we reintroduce Tools for Schools, and we use it as a promotional event for our next bullet point, which is our staff survey. So at the end of September, after that staff meeting, we'll put together a staff survey, 20 questions about indoor air quality, cleanliness in your room, different questions about the area you're in and your own personal space. After that, in September and October, I compile and review all the results. I investigate some of the comments, or if somebody has a question about the room. Usually I try to get all the low-hanging fruit right when we get the results of the survey. So if someone has a question or concern in their room, we usually try to rectify that immediately and not wait for the next meeting. So we go through that and try to address as many concerns as possible. Then by November, it's our first kickoff meeting of the year. We review all the results. We look at trends in the data for this year, but we also look back at last year's data to see, is there more or less of something we want in the building? Is there a different concern? Is there a certain area that seems to be having the same issue? Following that, we start walkthroughs. So in December, we start our first walkthrough, that's North School, and with our survey results, the committee will go through the building and room to room generally to anyone who had a concern, or if there's something we flag as, let's take a deeper look at what's happening in this area. At the end of December, mid-December, we submit the classic Tools for School surveys to the Department of Administrative Services at the state, and we post those surveys on the Beecher website in December also. So that's part of another task of the Tools for Schools is this is a separate set of surveys that goes to the Department of Administrative Services, which is different than our staff survey that we put out for the building. In February, we complete our second walkthrough, which is generally the South School area. In April, around April, we receive our written report from our indoor air quality consultant, who is a retired Quinnipiac Department health official that's been a longstanding member of the committee, knows the building, knows the community. So we review that report, and then in May, we have our wrap-up meeting, and we brainstorm how could we change the survey, how do we get more participation. We just look at, what could we improve for next year to make it a little better here. And you can see we have an example of some of our survey results there, a little pie graph at the bottom. Notable items we addressed in 25 and 26. The introduction and implementation of our Annihilator cleaning system. We've talked about this before, but it's a state-of-the-art cleaning system which turns water and water softening salt into disinfectant and degreaser. It's one of the greenest chemicals that I've ever seen in all the chemical demonstrations that I've ever participated in. And we're very happy with it. The custodians are very happy with it. And through the summer, we're going to have the whole school changed over, and we'll be only using the Annihilator cleaning chemicals in the classrooms. We have had a renewed focus on classroom area rug replacements. We actually started getting rid of some of the kindergarten rugs already. Kindergarten will have all brand new area rugs in their classroom, and they may be moving from oval to rectangular rugs next year. So it's very exciting, actually.
Announced here first, guys. Announced here first.
That's going to be my follow-up question. The difference being?
More seating options.
Yes,
Yeah.
seating
Do the
options
teachers
and the ability to maybe put little rug tape underneath the corners so they don't curl up. Overall, at least it seems the direction of the rug shape so far for Beecher Road School. So who knows? Next year it might spread to first grade when we do those rugs. We had 100% staff respondent awareness of the fix-it-work order system and the classroom HVAC intake and exhaust locations. Now, the results don't always show 100%, but what I'll do is when I get the results, and if there is a teacher that says, I don't understand how my HVAC works in my room, or I don't understand how to put in a work order if something's wrong, I will either email them in the case of the fix-it or go to the classroom and show them, this is your air intake, this is your exhaust. And generally, we don't have a lot of blockage on them, but with staff turnover, there's always a few people that may not understand how their HVAC works in their classroom. We identified areas for improvement for our custodial staff, and we increased reporting and location monitoring of pest activity and strategies to eliminate pests. So we're in a wooded area. We have furry friends, winged friends, some creepy crawly friends. So we're working on monitoring that. Our goals for next year is to improve our staff participation. We had 66 responses this year, which we would like to get that up to like 80 or 90, hopefully. You know, sometimes we have multiple people in one room, so one staff member will fill out the survey for the whole space, but ideally, I would love to have more respondents. Our second goal is a heightened focus on identifying issues to be addressed and eliminated in a possible new building. So this was, discussed at our wrap-up meeting. For instance, dehumidification for an HVAC system, where now we have, remote dehumidifiers in all the North School classrooms, where that'd be something that if we do move forward with a new building, we want to make sure that any sort of struggles we have in this building, we address them and at least, give suggestions before we make any decisions. And the third goal for next year is to raise awareness of more OSHA standards that affects classroom teachers. That could be something as simple as, plugging my refrigerator into an extension cord instead of directly into an outlet, or a lot of it has to do with extension cords and power strips because we do use a lot of electronics, but we're going to be reviewing those, and we're going to be updating our survey to have questions about those. So you say, oh, am I plugging my refrigerator in directly into the wall or not? So we haven't finalized the survey yet, but those are our goals for next year. And there's a link at the bottom here. You could see all our indoor air quality reports. This has our recent Tools for Schools surveys we sent to the state, and the results from the Tools for Schools staff survey from September are also on the indoor air quality page on the website. And now it's time for questions or comments.
Well, I have to say, I feel like it should be something that is clear, implicit in building committee reports, the facilities committee reports. But I think it's so personified in a comment you made, and it speaks to the expertise that's required to manage a building like Beecher Road School. Keeping that facility operating and in the condition it's in. When you said, of all the chemical demonstrations I've participated in, I'm like, words that will never cross my lips. It has nothing to do with the world of most of the people who are working, and supporting our learners in Beecher Road School, but it's so critical to their well-being. And I think, also, something with the PTO, the fact that they're surveying teachers, you're surveying teachers. This is not doing to, this is partnering with and actively seeking that input. And when you're saying, how do we get more participation? I'm like, yes, this is exactly it. So I'm just like, this is, as I always say about Beecher Road School, this is what every school should be. And I'm not saying we're perfect, but we're always striving to do our best and to do better. And, that's really what I see in this report. And the fact that you take nothing for granted.
Thank you
It's
very
really,
much.
really commendable. Other comments?
Thank you for everything, Vito. It's
My
awesome.
pleasure.
No.
Pleasure.
Yeah, your team does a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you need anything from us, let us know. You know where we show up once a month. Mrs. Sherman, I think it is your moment for the BRS update.
I want to start by saying that my sunflower is still alive. I think it's important that everybody knows the sunflower I planted is still alive, and I'm actually really excited about the bilk. Jessica came and talked to me about it, and I may have clapped and cheered a little bit. So I think it's going to be awesome. The other thing I want to say is how lucky I am to be the principal of a school and work with these amazing people that presented before me. Our PTO is, we know that they're phenomenal, but just getting to see the year and then Jessica and Vito and all the work that they do, I'm very lucky to work with so many amazing people. Okay, for my report, as usual, there's many exciting events and celebrations of learning. Mr. Montini touched on a bunch of them. And I'm going to highlight a few more that were more school-wide. So our book bracket, it is our second annual book bracket, and the literacy team led by Christina Conroy, Teresa Nicuzzi, and Jen Nickel, and supported by our fabulous PTO, as our PTO president shared. We engaged in lots of good reading and lots of good voting with the school. And the fifth graders made some really beautiful posters that were represented in the parade. Mr. Montini didn't quite know what he was getting into, but he ended up jumping right in and having a good time and announcing the winner of the book bracket, which was Don't Trust Fish by Neil Sharpson. Shout out to my admin team who did a really fun reading with awesome transitions, which is always a really fun experience for all of us. Field Day, health and PE teachers, again with our PTO, Miss Buzzard, Mr. Lavaway, and Mr. Taddy. They organized an amazing field day. It's always mind-blowing to me that they managed to get 860 plus kiddos outside and over 100 staff members outside for the entire day with no glitches in terms of the schedule or the activities or the games. There were some ants around this year, the flying ones, but other than that, it was a really beautiful day. And the sixth graders did an amazing job helping. I have to give them a big shout out because I got so many compliments about our sixth graders. They act as the guides and the teachers of all of the stations, and they just did a phenomenal job. The best is when they come up to us and they tell us how the kids are not being the best listeners, and we're like, yes, you have to remember that when you go back to your classroom. But they did a really great job to our sixth graders, and it was a really fun day for everybody. Also, the t-shirts this year were awesome. For the first time ever, we had an Amity High School clap out. You may have heard about it or read about it. The seniors, who are former Beecher students, came back to Beecher and walked the halls and got all of our community was outside in the hallways, and we were clapping, and there was posters that were made. The seniors were in their caps and gowns. It was a very special moment and very, very joyful, a little emotional for me as my daughter was one of them, but it was really fun to make that happen. And then at the end of it all, the best part for me is that I said, you have a few more minutes before you have to leave. Feel free to go and find one of your favorite teachers. And when I tell you they scattered so fast, they all knew exactly who they wanted to go to. Some of them were like, can you tell me where this teacher is? But every single one of them, without fail, knew exactly the teacher that they wanted to go to. And then some of them had like a few more after that they really wanted to see. So that just speaks to Beecher and the impact that our teachers have on our kids, how even, 6 years after they've left us, they all knew who they wanted to find and what they wanted to say to them. One quick plug, not about the amazing Beecher school year, but just summer reading and math. We're entering into the summer months, so I want to just mention that our district website does have our summer reading and our summer math packets up online, keeping in mind that audience at home, that reading and doing math at home throughout the summer will just help all of our kiddos and set them up for success and a smoother transition back to the school year. And then finally, I just want to add my thank you to all of you for all of the support that you've given us all this year. And of course, our amazing PTO, who you got to hear from, the team that I get to work with, Carrie, Cheryl, and Matt. I'm very lucky. And Superintendent Montini, who made it through his first Beecher year and promises that he'll stick around a little longer. And also just the amazing teachers and most of all the kiddos. Beecher is a magical place. I say it all the time. And frankly, it's because of all of the people that make it that way. So I'm grateful to every single one of you. And I hope that you all have a wonderful summer. Not that I won't see you. I'll see you. But any questions?
This is great. And just, kind of sticking with the theme, there's nothing that makes your job easier as a supervisor than having great people. And there's nothing that makes your job better than having a supervisor who you feel you can talk to. And what's come up organically in the comments this evening is the fact that it's clear that you are seen as an accessible leader who wants to be a partner and, is a sounding board and provides guidance and all those things, which, hey, that's in the job description, but that doesn't mean it always happens.
Yeah.
And it clearly came across in the comments this evening, and that's, great
Thanks,
work.
Stephen.
I think it's just, this was a terrific year at Beecher Road School, and that really comes across.
I agree.
I would just say thank you for working. I know we think we're one district, but we're actually two districts. So I appreciate that you guys worked across district with the seniors coming back.
Yeah.
Because I think that shows more collaboration, district collaboration, which is what we want. But also I heard about it from parents of seniors, parents, of younger kids. I heard it from seniors themselves, just how much it meant, and also from the little kids, how excited they were when there were kids in their neighborhood that they got to see running, around the school. So I think it had a large impact, but I also really appreciate the cross-district collaboration that it took.
Yeah, it was a high school teacher that actually came up, that pitched the idea, and
I love it.
I was so excited about it. And really, the sweetest thing too is that we had interns in our building, and they came back, and all of the kids were like looking for their intern, like chanting their name, and it was a very sweet moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope it continues.
I told them it had to.
Yeah.
I was like, we have to keep doing this.
I know. I want to come back after my son, was promoted on Wednesday, so I can hug all the teachers I love
Yeah.
at this school,
Feel free.
and it will be multiple.
Yeah, feel free.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. So we will move on to the BRS Building Committee. As Lynn is unfortunately not able to be with us this evening, I will quickly report. The last meeting was this past Tuesday, the 9th. It was an opportunity to have an open conversation with community members to raise their questions about what the building committee's work is, how the work that's been done to consider potentially supporting the building of a new school. It was a very robust conversation, and I think very productive for our community. I think the more we learn, that just helps inform people's decision making. I will note in my meeting remarks a little bit later on when our next building committee meetings are. But that's the report. Any questions? All right, curriculum committee report. Unfortunately, Mike Strambler could not be with us, but he did text me, wow, a lot. Okay, so here goes. The June 3rd Curriculum Committee meeting focused on social studies, where the committee sees the most opportunity for growth across the K-6 span. Strong individual units exist at every grade level. The work now is building a coherent scope and sequence that connects them. The curriculum relies heavily on the HMH ELA program for social studies content, and no one has done a systematic crosswalk to identify where state standards are actually being met and where they aren't. The gap analysis is the critical next step. The plan is to start curriculum development this summer with grades 5 and 6, where instruction is already departmentalized and teachers are dedicated to the subject. The goal is a curriculum document modeled on what exists for ELA and math. From there, work will sequence down through the lower grades over multiple years. Vertical articulation meetings on Bethany, Orange, and Amity have been ongoing to improve the 6th to 7th grade transition, and those will continue. There's also interest in building more structured debate and augmentation into the upper elementary grades, like through project-based learning in the 5th and 6th grade. Right now, those skills live primarily in ELA through argumentative writing. The idea is to connect with middle and high school staff to understand how they embed debate so the elementary program can serve as a genuine feeder. No concrete plans exist yet. That work is ahead. I will say any questions, but I really don't mean it. We will save those for Mike next time. But excellent report, I have to say. His thumbs must be tired. All right, Finance Committee report. All right, our fiscal year is nearly complete. And the total projected budget cost combined for all categories is currently estimated, total projected cost combined is currently nearly $99,000 under budget, up from $95,000 under budget last month. Almost all of our current savings are in salaries, where we currently have a nearly $338,000 surplus, which is up just a little bit from $330,000 last month. This reflects continued refinement of assumptions as we come closer to the end of the year and reduce the number of encumbrances. We have a new entry on the lower expense side of the ledger. This is our surprise for the 11th month. And that is benefits have now moved into the surplus category for the first time this year. Donna is currently estimating them at roughly $29,000 under budget compared to $27,000 over budget last month. Basically, we're seeing savings in CMERS and payroll due to staff on leave. We've also done health insurance reimbursements. We've done better, and there are other factors. I'm having trouble reading my handwriting because I was writing on the plane. But multiple factors have helped to boost that.
Sometimes if like an employee will come to us and say, oh, I got a letter from Husky, I think I'm gonna lose, so I'll kind of think, oh, they might be coming on the insurance, but then if it doesn't materialize, I need to say, okay, it's not happening, and take some of those assumptions down, which improved the picture, so.
Yeah.
No, it's going in the right way, whatever, you don't want to be wrong
Well, and
materially, so.
Yeah, no, and the fact that you're budgeting conservatively to ensure that we have the funds we need to cover our expenses. No, that's right. And a budget's a best guesstimate. And, we're really well-informed in this case, but still. All right, 700 series furniture and equipment, we're now anticipating about a $4,000 surplus. Pretty much running on budget is the 800 series. For the 200 series, the 300 series, purchase professional services. This is including legal audit and other expenses. We're forecasting about a $23,000 deficit, which is just slightly lower than the prior month. 400 series purchase property services is currently estimated at about $82,000 over budget, which is about $6,000 more than last month. Electricity is coming in higher, although this was slightly offset by special services consulting costs coming in a little bit lower. 500 series, other purchase services, including student transportation, tuition, interns, are currently running about $149,000 over budget, which is up from about $110,000 last month. This is reflecting the board's support for covering additional architectural and cost estimating expenses and for a communications consultant around the potential building project. All right, and finally, 600 series materials and supplies. We're now showing about $16,000 over budget. Donna, I must admit, I did not write down why that is.
Because we're in a surplus position, I encouraged Vito to pre-purchase the stripper and waxer that we're going to use over the summer, thereby saving next year's budget from a good size order.
Which is great. And it's called a Raptor?
Oh, and that's we've been talking a lot about volunteers tonight. We're going to purchase a new module of our lobby security software that will allow us to background check volunteers that participate in all these wonderful activities that we do. And it will come with a good pad of background checks, prepaid. So that'll be nice for next year.
Fantastic. Any questions? No? Donna, anything else you'd like to add?
No.
All right. So then we will move on to next item, which is the budget surplus. All right. And I just want to find it in my packet.
Do you want me to, Annalisa or Matt, would you want to click on the tab for the budget surplus? It's one of those PDFs at the top there.
Thank you.
I saw it.
It was there, but now it said, it said the file wasn't available. Did it change in the last 5-10 minutes? This is the reconciliation. This is
Correct.
The one that's,
Yeah.
You want this one?
No, the little rainbow one, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's in the packet. People can pull it up in the packet.
I'll go hunting for it. Give me a second.
Okay.
I think I have it. Sorry.
also with $100,000 of surplus, we put together a list of items that we would support if the board sees fit to add to our expenses for this year, thereby taking our surplus down. And this would still allow us to return $60,000-ish to the town. So the bulk supply order that we'd like to do so that the ask on families is lesser next year. Take care of a lot of the crayons and scissors and things like that. Our snow blowers are on life support, so this would get us 2 new commercial snow blowers, which Vito has been shopping around for. How many radios is this, Chris? 4-ish radios. Yeah, a high security lockdown radio, which some of our neighboring districts have begun to have in their toolkit that we would be interested in purchasing for ourselves. We talked about earlier how the free and reduced students get to come to the events and things. And this, we did this last year and cover the reduced lunch fees for families by giving that money over to the cafeteria fund so that those students don't have to pay anything for their lunch. And then the last thing is a program called Kids Are Rolling, and its intent is to teach kindergartners to ride a bike. This $9,000 purchases 2 racks of, I think it's 24 bikes total, and it comes with training for your PE teachers and the helmet, and they start as a strider, and I think once the kids learn to balance themselves and coast, then they adapt them with the pedals. And I think it goes for about 6 lessons with the goal that everybody learns to ride a bike. So I know people feel that their kids no longer get to learn to swim at Beecher, but maybe we can substitute learning to ride a bike at Beecher now.
All right. Well, I'm going to make a motion, and then we can have discussion. So I will move that we use the projected surplus 2025-26 operating budget as recommended by administration, with any remaining dollars returned to the town. Do I have a second? Aaron? Okay. Discussion. Yes.
Is there any way, given our surplus, that we could just cover all of the supplies for next year, so we're not asking parents to purchase any supplies?
I don't know that I could answer that in time. I mean, I don't know if you could make your motion if there's a way. We'd have to get all the lists and cost
Okay.
them out.
I think it's a good goal, though, that we should have. We've been moving towards that, and I think that a good goal for us would be to do what our peer districts do, which is covering supplies fully and not asking parents have to go and purchase them, especially if we're asking for certain branding and certain things because they're higher quality, right? So if we can't do it this year, I understand, but if we could maybe consider it for next year when we're building out either both the budget or what to do with the surplus, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could talk about it as sort of in policy as a way to get people around it, and then it would give us time to also figure it out in the budget simultaneously. So I don't know how much we ask for, so I can't answer that question now currently.
I don't know either, but I like the idea of us. It can be a lot, especially if you have multiple kids in the school. If you have, and I know that we kind of went from a very broad list of like bring in pencils and Post-it notes to like a very branded list, which again, I appreciate that they're higher quality. You don't want your pencils to break. You want high quality. But I also think given how much our our residents pay in taxes for our school, if we are ending with surpluses, if we could figure out a way to build it into the budget, I think it'd be great.
And sometimes things that are required to be purchased, like, come in bulk quantities to begin with.
Right.
So like you're expected to purchase 2
Pink
whiteboards,
erasers.
right? But they come in a package of 5, right? Or, so like it doesn't really make sense what's being asked anyway when
Yeah.
the bulk makes more sense. So then you end up with like extra things that like you either, I guess, like try to donate or like
Throw away,
just end up at your
space.
house. Yeah. So I do think that some of it will make more sense. Just and then I think, you know, asking for some things that could be donations, right? Like donate a box of tissues or things like that. People would do that.
Okay, well, we'll see how far we can get.
Thank you.
No, I like that approach. The bookshelves in my office are full of unused supplies. And, you know, and because of the bulk, another fact, and also just, yeah, if you have educators who can carry those over year to year and then adjust as needed, great.
Right. I mean, I know that we do activities through the PTO and the Green Committee to reuse, but I think if we're talking about not wasting our milk cups, this is another way, I think, that we can reduce the waste that comes through our school district. So, thank
And
you.
the more pencils you buy, the better price you get.
Yes,
Right.
exactly, exactly.
This is true.
Pre-sharpened, I'm hearing we would have a request for them to be pre-sharpened too. So, but yes, thank you.
Do the kids have to do nothing?
Nothing.
Any other comments before we vote? All right.
I
Sure.
did have one question.
Please.
I know there was going to be a conversation with the PE teachers about the bikes. Was that something that they are excited about, or?
Principal Sherman, I think she had that conversation.
Yeah, so I actually. Yes, so I actually spoke with Mr. Lavaway, Mr. Taddy, when I was trying to find him. It was a day that he was not present, but yes, he was really quite excited about it. And I will say, although I didn't get to speak with Mr. Taddy, he used to have a bike that he would ride around on in the halls of Beecher. He hasn't been doing that the last couple of years, but I have a feeling that when I said to him, you get these bikes, he will be very excited. But I know Mr. Lavaway was certainly on board and supportive and excited about the possibility.
And then the other question we had about the bikes was storage. Is there a place to store them?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. We have to talk to Vito about where we can put them also, but storage is tight at Beecher, so that is a very good question. I think that between the North Gym and the South Gym and the storage closets that they have and some of the other space that Vito has, we'll be able to make it work. Yeah, good questions. Can I just add that in my principal's report, I shouted out my team and I failed to mention Donna, who is equally amazing. It was just a moment of panic. But I am also very grateful that I get to work with Donna, who comes to us with these brilliant ideas like the bikes and says, hey, Lisa, like we can do this awesome bike thing. And so shout out to Donna. And it was not for lack of love that I missed your name. It was just the panic of the conversation.
I didn't even notice.
All right. All those in favor? Unanimous? All right. And that brings us to budget reconciliation.
Okay.
Donna,
Just
anything?
wait for the I'm waiting for
Oh.
the slide to change. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So sorry. I know you guys are
I was
probably
like, were you waiting for me?
tired of my voice tonight, but this is the Board of Education originally approved $19,496,610 as the budget, and the Town Board of Finance asked us to make some cuts, and the things that we were able to come up with. We now have 2 teacher retirements, so between salary savings from two teacher turnovers plus health, we're estimating $80,000 savings. We were very fortunate to come in with a 0% increase on our health insurance, which we were all pretty shocked about because we heard so many double-digit renewals of other people in Connecticut. So that saves us, the net of that, plus having a few more people on our insurance this year, will save us $287,056 next year. We gave our district-wide professional development a little $4,000 haircut, as we like to say. Our teacher devices, it came forward at the town finance committee meeting if we would consider trying a 6-year replacement cycle versus 5 years. So we have agreed to do that. We don't really have any data one way or another, but we thought we'd try it and put off changing out those devices for another year, which would save us a lease payment of $24,616. We were able to get a little better pricing on one of our out-of-district transportation runs, which will save us $18,000. Since the budget was originally proposed, our fuel bid came in, which is going to save us $20,000 versus what was initially estimated. And we are all so glad that we're locked for our fuel next year. Instructional STEAM supplies, we trimmed $2,000, but with our current surplus, anything that we were not allowing them to buy next year, they certainly can fit in the end of this year. So all those things together take us to $19,060,938, which is what we were approved for at the town meeting.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I will move that we approve the reconciliation of the 2026-27 operating budget as presented by administration. Do I have a second? Well, I'm going with Sarah Beth. All right. Any discussion?
Donna answered my question about pre-purchasing for the supplies, just because I know that was an issue with the STEAM. I will also just put out for the ethos of the world that I know professional development is something that we always tend to cut and go to for cutting. So I hope that as we move forward, we can just make sure we're investing in our professionals within the district. And I know that I don't want to mess up the numbers, but I just will put in the ethos that I do think professional development is really important. And I know that with COVID and us coming out of COVID, there has been additional needs around professional development and addressing things. And then we had some legislative changes around reading and other things. Getting back to robust professional development or continuing the robust professional development, I think is important as we move forward.
I agree. And in terms of professional development and STEAM, we also have a little bit of grant offset, so that's not actual reductions. These also, some of these could be a reduction to what we proposed, so it could be a reduction of an increase. So STEAM has adequate money for supplies. It's a reduction of what was essentially an increase. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions? All right. All those in favor? Unanimous? That brings us to Policy Committee.
So I apologize in advance for what I'm about to put you through, but we went through a lot. We went through a lot of policies, and I just want to go through them so we can vote on them because these are on 30-day notice. There's not massive. These were pretty easy to go through, which is how we got through so many. So policy 3100, budgeting system, we made no, I skipped one. Policy 3000, concept and roles in business and non-instructional operations, we made no changes to, so it's 30-day review. 3100, Budgeting system, we made no changes. 30-day review. Policy 3150, adoption of budget, we made no changes. 30-day review. Policy 3160, that is transfer of funds between categories. So throughout this, we had some changes to titles. We just wanted to make sure titles were consistent with what we were utilizing. We took out some, at the end, in the last paragraph, some unnecessary language because it was kind of like, if you have this or Board of Selectmen, we only have the Board of Selectmen, so we took out what we don't have. And then up on the first part, we just reduced some, took out some like unnecessary language to just make it easier for them to do what they need to do within the administration. So that's 30-day review. Policy 3170, extended school day and extended school year programs. Again, we corrected a spelling error, we did find, and we just made sure we again took out some unnecessary language, but it didn't change anything in terms of the actual policy. Then, okay, so it looks like we are missing, I will just note, 3250. It looks like instead of that, we have 3170. We have the regulations in our packet, so I don't know if we want to move 3250 to the next agenda, so people have 30 days. Do you see what I'm saying, Stephen?
Right.
Okay, so I think we have to move that to the next, because we don't have it in our packets. So I'm going to go to 3260, which is disposal of obsolete books, equipment, and supplies. We actually chose not to be notified of every single book that they dispose of. We said that anything under 2,000, they could just make that choice on their own, and we would trust them. 3280, gifts, grant bequests, and memorials. We made no changes, so that's the same. 3313, relationship to vendors. Here we just changed titles to make sure they were accurate. Sorry. Policy 3320, purchasing procedures. Again, these were changes to titles to make sure they were accurate. 3321, same changes to titles to make sure they're accurate. Interesting, I think we have 3321 twice. Okay, so ignore the second 3324.1 contracts. We just added in the there was some additional legal references that needed to be added in. 3326, just changed the title to make sure it was accurate. 3434 made no changes. 3510, we just changed titles, and then while we were there, we're getting rid of like the he, her type of thing and everything because it's just so annoying to. Anyways, 3510, we made those changes, nothing substantive. 3560, we didn't think we should be giving an example of an equipment that we actually don't own ourselves. So we just took out the example of such as school buses, since we don't own school buses. And that's it. Ooh, sorry. That's it. So we'll be voting on them next time.
That was as efficient as the meeting was.
There we go.
All right. That brings us to the CABE liaison report. Sarah Beth.
Okay, so I just want to remind everyone that on August 6th in Westbrook is the leadership meeting. If anyone does want to attend, new members, you're welcome to attend. Just let Marcia know. And then also, CABE is looking for photos of their graduations where board members participate. So if there's any video clips or photos that are taken on Wednesday, could submit them into CABE. We could make the news.
Oh,
We could be celebrities.
trust me, we had pigs on our street. We're already celebrities.
Oh, you were the street.
We were the street. We're the ones. All right, upcoming meeting presentations. Our next July meeting of the board will be our annual board retreat, potentially on Monday, July 20th, but I want to check in with everyone, given summer travel plans, to make sure folks will actually be around. We will find a date when everyone is available. I will note, similarly, For our committee meetings, at the July board retreat, we will be determining the schedule for regular committee meetings. So we're not going to put any on the calendar for right now. The two meetings that are upcoming, as I promised, are BRS building committee meetings. We have one tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock with a tour available for those who want to come in earlier. I believe it's 6:15. And we will be having the communications consultant coming in to share findings from the survey, the community survey that took place. And then and there will be public comment at that meeting. And then the following meeting on Tuesday, June 23rd at 7 p.m., we will have another open dialogue. So members of the community, we can be in conversation about what we're learning and the process of considering whether the community wants to support constructing a new school. All right, and that brings us to new business. And under that, we will begin with the pre-K tuition increase. And I will go ahead and make a motion, and then we can have discussion. I move that we authorize an increase in pre-K tuition for the 2026-27 school year to $3,500 based on a 5-day model. Do I have a second? Aaron. All right. Mr. Montini or Ms. Coonan, who can provide us with a little context around this?
Yeah, I'll start, and then Mrs. Cooney can fill in the holes, perhaps, if there's any, or Ms. Borcherding. Early in the year, the BOA districts collaborated and realized they hadn't set or hadn't increased their rates in some time. Orange is already at the $3,500 for the year. Both Bethany and Woodbridge agreed to raise $250 for the year. Again, on 5 days, which still is is quite a deal. We're not talking about a full day; we're talking about half-day program, but half day, $3,500 for the year in collaboration with BOA.
Questions, comments?
We do offset part of our preschool teacher's salary against the revenue, so it would allow us, maybe a few $1,000s more to be offset from the general fund.
And for like pre-K 3 families who are used to one rate and a different rate next year, like if there's an issue, like is there any flexibility in working things out with them because it kind of is last minute at this point. So, because I'm just wondering about them, like budgeting typically happens like months in advance, so and it's probably not a large number of people.
Yeah, it's only $250, and I think some families, they do get some relief through the town human services department. Occasionally, we will get word from them that a family is not to be charged or whatever. So there is a way to apply if somebody needs relief.
Which is, yeah.
Okay. All right. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. All right. And that brings us to the multi-year copier lease, also known here as copier lease. All right. I will move that we approve the multi-year copier lease with Prism Office Solutions as presented. Do I have a second? Megan, thank you. All right. Context on copiers.
Okay, sure. So our lease that is ending, we entered into in August of 2021 as a 5-year lease. And that's prior to my starting with the district. And so as we began to know that we were going to be changing this lease over, I was talking to the town because they bid out their leases, their copiers last year, and I thought of jumping on their bid. And I started talking to Xerox, our current lease lessor. And I learned that the copiers that we have were on back order such that the lease did not actually start until April. So we do have like 9 more months than I realized on this lease, but changing your copiers anytime but the summer is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in education. So we really wanted to do this summer. The Prism Copiers, who works with the town and that we are proposing to go with, they are willing to buy out the remaining months of our existing lease. And we will still save about between $17,000 and $18,000 a year with the rate structure that they are offering us. Some of that is because the way the Xerox lease is structured, we pay not only for the machines each month, but we commit to 220,000 images per month. We don't always use 220,000 images per month, but they don't roll over. So on the months where we do go over, we get charged an excess. So it's really just not an ideal lease structure for us. And so for all those reasons, we recommend going forward with the Prism lease.
Prism's on the state contract,
Yes.
which already means that you can avoid going to bid. There's already a partnership with the town. It saves money. You'd get new copiers. We also, correct me if I'm wrong, we are getting...
One additional copier in the workroom where the teachers copy, so they would be excited about that.
Yes, the teachers would be happy.
I sense there may be support for that among the administration. Comments, questions? All those in favor? All right. That sounds like a good deal. All right.
Did we have to motion, or we already did?
Oh, I did the motion.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you seconded it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's getting late, and we're not done yet.
I know.
That brings us to the HVAC maintenance contract. So I move that we authorize the superintendent and/or designee to enter into a 3-year contract agreement with Tucker Mechanicals to perform the annual HVAC maintenance. Do I have a second? Sarah Beth? Okay. I saw her first, Jackie. I'm
Jackie
not-
wanted, totally fine.
All right. HVAC maintenance contract.
Okay. So if you will notice, we got, I think, 11 responses, which Vito thinks might be a record. And if you notice, technically Tucker is the second to lowest bid. There was one lower bid, maybe $1,300 difference in year 1, down to about $500 difference in year 3. They're a little bit newer on the scene, and Vito did call around to his contacts in the area, and just people didn't have a lot of experience with them, so, and their bid, you know, it didn't include as much information as some of the others. We just felt like it might be a bit of a risk. You know, if we don't, this is an area where if you know, if we fail to get the building properly heated or cooled, we can't have school. So we just really need to trust the company that we're going into contract with. So taking all those things into account, we feel comfortable staying with Tucker.
Yeah, it's our current provider. We're happy with the service. They know the building.
Yeah.
There's a minimal price differential. The risk outweighs the reward.
Why were some, like, is it just they don't want the job, or they provide something else that?
I think we gave it to them straight, what all needed to be done. I think Vito makes it very easy, where it might say you need to fill up this fluid, you know. Well, you know, chances are Vito keeps it pretty, you know, you might not have to even do that step 1 month or whatever. I think someone's doing a calculation of if you have to, worst case scenario for every one of these things. Whereas, and that's, you know, it's also telling that Tucker's been doing this for years and they know it can be done for less. Because in large part of how Vito keeps everything.
Our current contract with Tucker is somewhat comparable. So they've been doing the work at or around that rate and feel like they can continue, but for a minimal
Yeah.
increase, right? Yeah. Yeah, so.
All right, all those in favor? It's unanimous. All right, that brings us to other public comment. Seeing no members of the public here, we will continue moving to executive session, which we will be, where we will be conducting our annual superintendent evaluation. And also doing contract review. So, there will be action taken when we return from executive session, just to note. And with that, I will move that we enter into executive session in accordance with state statute and invite the superintendent to join the executive session. Do I have a second? Sarah Beth? All those in favor? All righty. Off we go. moving boards. Okay, we're good. I move that we extend the contract of the superintendent through June 30th, 2029, approving a 3% salary increase for the 2026-27 school year. Do I have a second? Megan, I saw you first. And any discussion? All those in favor? It's unanimous. All right. I now move that we extend the contract of the Director of Business Services / Operations through June 30th, 2029, including a 3% increase in salary for the 2026-2027 school year. Do I have a second? Jackie, I'm giving it to you. All right. Any discussion?
Still
All those in, keep that arm up. All those in favor? It's unanimous. All right. I move. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to. I can't even think of it. Motion to adjourn at 9:29. Megan Knatzer. Do I have a second? Jackie Capiello. All those in favor? We're done. Woo! I know.